Hi there. Thank you for tuning in to Grow Your Gifts. Today I'd like to talk about the power of kindness. So, yeah, I always like to get the essence, get the nutshell, get the, main takeaway. For me, from my experience, and what that kind of means to me with the power of kindness. Um, yeah, I'll start there. So, to me, that means more like gratitude, tuning into that wavelength, that frequency. Like Ho'oponopono, I shared with you in a previous video, which is just, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, has changed my world. Just giving thanks. Um, so when I say gratitude, I've gone to the deep end with that because that's how I roll. And I'll just give one example. Like if, I'm eating my food, um, I get the images of everything, uh, where did this rice come from? Everything, all the people involved, all the time, all the energy involved, that this nourishment uh, came from the field to my plate. So whatever's on my plate. And it happens lightning fast for me now because I've been practicing it for so long. And even like the trucks on the highway, they need like their own highway. That's just one solution I have. But it can be me in my little car, like a little, when it's windy or rainy or nighttime, it's like so I've really had to shift my attitude and my perspective to, well, most of the time these trucks are transporting goods and food and nourishment and other things that we need on a day-to-day basis. So that's been a really hard one for me. Um, comfort wise, driving wise, I'm okay with trucks now. I just get into my zone, see the big picture. They're in their lane, I'm in my lane. I change lanes and try to make it into a dance. But more than that, once the fear is gone, then I'm able to say, oh, thank you. Thank you to the truck drivers. Thank you to everybody involved for getting those goods to us. Not taking that for granted and switching that kind of like, oh my gosh, it's a truck, to thank you, truck. Thank you, truckers. It's not an easy job. I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, there's so many jobs out there that we rely on, and we kind of go around our day maybe forgetting or not realizing when it's brought to our attention all the time, though. So I thought that was interesting. So that to me also correlates to the power of kindness and gratitude and giving thanks. Mm, water. So modeling self-kindness while being realistic. In my experience, it's been a pendulum swing of, being like head in the clouds and just too positive. And, I'm sure we've all been there, to then pendulum swinging the other way. Like if you imagine a grandfather clock, that's how the symbology is for me. I go one extreme and the other extreme. So it's like head in the clouds, too positive, and then to like down in the dumps, angry storm, ball of sadness, numb and indifferent, paranoid and irrational fears. So yeah, you kind of, for me, I learned that, okay, well, that was too far in this direction. That was too far in this direction. I didn't like how that felt, being kind of naive and too positive, and you do tend to get sort of swindled or something. You got to be more realistic and grounded. And I'm talking to myself like this, and kind of see what's in front of you, and not imagine the best of people or the best of the situation all the time, because that wasn't serving my highest self at the time. It made more sense to just be as honest with myself as possible and with my surroundings. So that kind of brings me more to a neutral space, a neutral point. And, the opposite spectrum of that was just like basically shutting off. Like, yeah, there was anger and sadness and fear and paranoia sometimes, but it just came down to like shutting off. So, that did provide some sort of relief. This is no judgment. All of those things help us, I think, when we need them. Like imaginary crutches or whatever you want to call them, they help. They support us. They provide us with something. So it's all part of the journey. It's all okay. It's all needed. If every day was a sunny, beautiful day, how would we appreciate the sunny, beautiful days? Not to justify like horrible storms or anything, symbology wise, but that's the terrain here. That's the journey here. I think that we need to experience driving in Toronto to appreciate driving in Burlington or wherever you live. It's like you take it for granted until you're like in a worse situation. That's just how we are as humans, I think, like generally speaking. So for the people in your life as well, it can be like that. Like, it's easy to complain and criticize, and yeah, there's some honest truth to, like, I have some real issues here with this person, but there's so much to appreciate, and be grateful for most of the time. I mean, if that's not the case, obviously that's not the case, but if it is, then go give them a hug. Let them know that you appreciate them. Let them know that, show that kindness in some authentic, genuine way back to them, if you feel called to. So, yeah, a happy medium, tapping into our true nature, which another way of saying it is the outer view and the inner view. So there's that, back and forth symphonic dance going on with the outer view and the inner view, I feel. And finding that in, sort of asking myself, what is my true nature? And how do I sort of operate from that happy medium? And then I choose my thoughts, I choose my feelings. Though they help me understand energy in motion, I get angry out of nowhere, or I'll feel sad out of nowhere. I need to tap into, well, what is this information? This energy is carrying information in the form of emotions. Sometimes, certain thoughts, as well as I'm journaling and I read back and I say, oh, whoa, I'm seeing a pattern here with these thoughts. That's interesting. What is this trying to tell me? And, or my body is feeling a certain way. And it's up to me to translate and help me understand what is being sort of communicated to me, or understand. I like to play with words and make up new ones. So I choose my attitude, and I choose gratitude. So I choose my safety and my well-being. That is like foundational for me. And I look for solutions. That has been so transformative. Because it's so easy to get stuck in like a back and forth with whoever or the situation, and it's like never ending, it seems like. But when you just sort of consciously say, well, no, I don't want to play this game anymore, like with you say that to yourself, you kind of step out of the situation and look at it, observe it from a bird's eye view or on a movie screen, and you say, well, what are the solutions here? You're kind of relinquishing a lot of attachment, possibly even quantum entanglement. So disentangling from something that may not be serving you anymore, or you're serving your highest self anymore. And as you're saying, okay, well, there's one simple solution, let's try that, the whole mood changes, the whole atmosphere changes. When you keep bringing your focus back to, well, this is my intention, I know this, but I'm still getting pulled into, this person's drama, that person's trauma, that person's whatever, or this environment or this toxic environment or something. But when you keep choosing to put your focus on a solution or a win-win scenario, also, deeply empathetically on your own, in your own time alone, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Again, not to justify anything, mean that they've done, or maybe ignorant or disrespectful or whatever it was. I'm not justifying that, because we're all responsible for our everything as adults. We're responsible for our choices and our actions and our thoughts and our words and our energy that we're putting out there. Even if we're doing it unconsciously, nobody else is responsible for that except for us, right? So while saying, to ourselves and each other that we are accountable, holding each other accountable in that sort of way, even though it hurts sometimes to say, hey, look, I don't agree with you, and what that thing and with the way you're, it's not nice, is not, however you want to phrase it. I don't like it, or I feel like this when, this and this happens. It's not about pointing fingers or placing blame or saying you. No, we're just trying to help each other and mirror things back to each other. Because let's face it, we can't always see ourselves clearly, right? So that's what I love about relationships. It kind of helps bounce ideas off of each other, bounce well, that was not working at all, that mode of operation, so I need to change something about myself, because this person, that person, this person, that person, they've all said in the most kindest, lovingest way they could possibly the exact same thing about me. So yeah, in that situation, it's not you, it's me. It's clearly me. So okay, so then that makes it much more easier for me to take that bird's eye view and say, okay, well, what's the solution here? And as soon as I do that, it's like the solutions come to me. So the power of kindness is huge for me in my life. Because as soon as I start tapping into that, all these almost miraculous things start happening in my life. It's like, what? How does this even possible? So, yeah, I'll start with just general things. There's been a couple times I was having the worst time in the world, maybe just the worst day, and it's all connected, right? So I shouldn't have gone and driven in the snow. I know that now, but I did. I could have walked to the convenience store or wherever I wanted to go. It would have taken me longer, but it wasn't rational, and I didn't need to go driving in the snow, but I did. And plus, I had a ball of emotions. This is a long time ago, and I was just having the worst day. I remember very clearly, and of course I got stuck in the snow at a traffic light. It wasn't a big deal or a safety issue. I put my hazards on. I'm like, great, I'm stuck in the snow. And at this point, I don't even want to call anybody for help. I don't that's how bad of a time I was having. And you're just kind of sitting there, being like, okay, it's a blizzard, I'm stuck in the snow, and I don't even want to ask for help. Oh my gosh. And I could have called CAA or called parents or called a friend or whoever. But ball of emotions, you don't really want to do that in the moment. And just a random Good Samaritan stops, I'm assessing the situation outside my car, being like, yeah, I'm really stuck. I don't know how to get out of here. It's just like the corner of my front wheel or something. And he's like, safely pulls over somewhere and is asking me if I need help. Like, it's just waves of gratitude at that point where it's like, how is this even happening right now? It was so much kindness. And, maybe it took like 10, 15 minutes, but he helped me get my car out of there and I went straight home. I was like, okay, that was a close call, and I thanked him so much. And it's just like random acts of kindness, and you don't know what kind of impact you're having on other people when you show these like random acts of kindness. It's really powerful. And like, what? So another story I can share is again, it's like on me because I didn't really check before I left. So I was going from Canada to the US, and I kind of generally knew, like, okay, my bank card, my Visa card doesn't really work in the US. Like, that's, I have like the lowest account possible you can have, so I don't have a big monthly bill or whatever. And I didn't really have time, or I didn't take care of that before I left. But I made sure I had enough cash. I thought. So, I went to the States, I had fun with my sister, all that stuff, and then I'm driving back, and, I need some gas. And, my sister had paid for everything with her card, so I made sure to give her, like, what I thought was half in cash. So then I'm driving back to the States, back to Canada from the States on my own, and I'm still on the US side. And I just needed like maybe, I don't know, $20 of gas or something. And because as soon as I'm crossing the border, I can, use my debit card again and all that stuff. So I go to the gas station to prepay, and I'm like, okay, let me just try this, because I never even tried my card. So I was like, maybe it'll work. And I think it's like a long weekend or something too. So the banks have weird hours. So I'm at the gas station in the United States with my Canadian bank card and everything, and I'm trying, and it doesn't work. And the cashier's like, oh, okay, try your Visa. And so I tried that, it didn't work. And I said, yeah, it's on me. I mean, I didn't really check before I left. I wasn't freaking out or anything. I was just like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, you know what? I can spot you $10. It's like, what? The cashier was so sweet. And this older gentleman was there, and he was kind of observing and listening to what's going on, as he's, buying his whatever he needs to buy. And he's like, just quietly, gently walks over and hands, another $10. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that was so kind and so sweet. So I got my $20 of gas from these strangers that don't know me and in the United States. And I was like, wow, that was just so sweet. And so I fill up my car, I fill up my gas, and I'm getting ready to, start my car. And I just put my hand in my coat pocket, and I'm like, what is this? And then my sister had sneakily, like a good Indian person, put the money I gave her back into my pocket. So the crazy thing after all that was I had the money all along. And of course, I'm all about symbology. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just tripping out right now. So all of that, if I just checked my pocket, I would have had the cash to pay for the gas. But I needed to go through that. I needed to experience that. I needed to get that blessing that, and learn the kindness of American people, strangers. Like, it was just so sweet. And I just drove off. I was like laughing and driving off because I was like, okay, let's just go. So, and accept that, that's their gift. It was just very nice, very sweet. And I'll share one more story about the power of kindness. And I've had many experiences similar to this. But this one really stuck out. And so I was working with this like toddler, almost 3 years old, in the childcare center. Um, and he had a lot of, like, you could say, behaviors that seemed very angry or aggressive, but something inside me just knew, like, there's something else here, something real, like, and serious going on here. So I just took the gentle approach. I just took the very super kindness approach. Because I felt it, and I trusted that intuition, and I just, day after day, for a few months, I worked with him, and we worked in the most gentlest, most kindest way possible. We always went away from the other kids. You know, I gave him pillows to punch. I took him, you know, I was in a position where I could, you know, take him from the classroom by myself and, you know, go to the playground for a few minutes, and then I would come back to the classroom. We had that, ratios were covered, everybody was good in the classroom. So we went to the playground and he just screamed. I let him just scream. And, you know, it's busy, like traffic outside, like nobody minded. It's a little tiny person screaming with, you know, the din of traffic behind him. You know, it's a fenced in playground, so you know, no one's there. He doesn't have to worry about things. We make sure he's hydrated a lot, and has his water and everything. Just so many little things like that over and over and over again. And it was revealed to me later, and his mom was like the sweetest, kindest person too that I came across. And but she was like very withdrawn, and I didn't know why. And then his grandmother talked to me months later and said, "We have seen a huge change in this boy, and a lot of it's thanks to you. Recently, his dad passed away." So you can imagine, all the understanding like clicked into place right away for me. There's a parent that's grieving at home. There's a little one who, like, this is way too big for him to understand what's going on. He doesn't really understand why his mom is so different and withdrawn. Like, immediately this empathy and understanding just came to the surface. And oh, the story always makes me cry because I like the rain. It's cooling me down. You know, I can't imagine what it's like. So yeah, that's that story. And I won't go into it more because I'll just keep crying. But anyway, the power of kindness. And I saw the child, like, even I think like a year later, I just bumped into him in the mall. And, you know, by that time he was at a different school, different center. But he recognized me right away and came running into my arms. And he was with his aunt or somebody who didn't know me. And I was like, it's okay, I used to be his teacher. So, yeah, it's a very heartwarming story. My nose is running a lot. But tears are natural. Let it flow, I say. And the rain is nice. So, as long as my technology has an umbrella, that's all I care about. So the power of kindness, I just wanted to end this video with, you know, I was very blessed growing up that, yeah, even though my mom has special needs of some type, I won't go into details, a lot of the time she chose kindness with me. She could have, you know, criticized me or gotten angry or done so many other things, but time after time, she chose kindness. And she was always there for a hug. So I was very blessed in that way. There's a lot of other things going on, a lot of other things where I didn't get and I missed out on, but in that specific way, I feel like it's my job to pay it forward because I was shown so much kindness consistently from a very young age with her. It's my job to pay it forward and keep doing that with others. And when I feel like we tap into that frequency and that kind of mode of operation, these other miracles pop out from the woodwork, and it happens when you need it the most and out of nowhere. That's been my experience over and over and over again. So yeah, Lorraine is really helping me bring back to calmness and center. Thank you, Rain. So that's all for today. Signing off, and I wish you well.